Most men waste their energy trying to impress women. They chase, they prove, they overgive, hoping that effort will buy affection. But in psychology, effort doesn't always create attraction. It often destroys it. Because the truth, the dark truth, is this: the more you chase, the less she feels. Desire doesn't grow through effort. It grows through tension. And tension is born from restraint, mystery, and emotional control. Machiavelli once said, "Power is maintained not by force, but by perception." You don't need to chase her to win her attention. You need to understand how to make her invest first. And when you understand these 8 laws of dark psychology and female behavior, you'll see why powerful men never chase, they attract, because their energy commands effort in return. 1. The law of psychological investment. Attraction follows investment always. Human beings don't value what comes easily. We value what we work for, what we earn. When you do all the chasing, you strip her of the opportunity to earn you. And what's easily gained is easily forgotten. Psychology calls this the effort justification principle. The more effort someone puts into something, the more they convince themselves it has value. So the key is simple. Don't give everything. Invite her to participate. Let her invest through attention, curiosity, or emotion. Every text she sends first, every silence she breaks, every moment she tries to read you is an investment. And once she invests, her mind does the rest. She begins to rationalize. He must be special, or I wouldn't care this much. That's how attachment begins, not with your effort, but hers. 2. The law of controlled mystery. Men who overshare kill attraction faster than rejection. Why? Because they destroy curiosity. Curiosity is emotional gravity. It's what keeps her thinking about you long after you're gone. Machiavelli would say, never reveal the full extent of your thoughts. Let others wonder what you're capable of. When you remain slightly unreadable, calm, observant, yet unpredictable, you create tension. She begins to study your tone, your words, your silences. She becomes mentally invested in understanding you. This is controlled mystery, the art of being just known enough to intrigue, but unknown enough to haunt the imagination. Don't hide your truth, just don't reveal your map. Let her explore you one layer at a time, because once she can't predict you, she can't forget you. 3. The law of emotional reversal. Here's where most men fail. They think attraction is about giving, compliments, affection, attention. But in reality, the strongest emotion in attraction is uncertainty. In psychology, uncertainty activates the brain's dopamine reward loop. It creates obsession, curiosity, and desire. When she can't fully read your feelings, her mind fills the gap with imagination. And imagination is the most powerful form of emotional investment. So here's your rule. Show warmth, then withdraw slightly. Reveal interest, then fall silent. Flirt, then refocus on your purpose. Each shift creates a pulse, a rhythm that keeps her emotions chasing equilibrium. Machiavellian men use this not as manipulation, but as mastery of contrast. Because emotion without contrast is flat, but emotion with tension becomes unforgettable. 4. The law of scarcity. Scarcity is psychological gold. The rarer something appears, the more valuable it becomes, not because it's better, but because it's limited. If your time, energy, and presence are easily available, you lose leverage. But when you protect your attention, people feel its worth. A man who guards his focus communicates silent power. Every message you delay, every silence you hold, every time you walk away calmly, reinforces your worth. This is how kings move. They don't run toward validation. They make others rise to meet them. Scarcity isn't arrogance, it's discipline. And discipline is magnetic. 5. The law of emotional anchoring. Every interaction creates an emotional imprint. If she laughs around you, she begins to associate you with joy. If she feels peace in your presence, you become her calm. If she feels tension, curiosity, or thrill, you become the source of her emotional high. In psychology, this is called anchoring, when an emotion becomes attached to a person. So stop focusing on impressing her. Focus on creating an experience. Ask the kind of questions that make her think. Say things that make her feel. Be the man who awakens emotion, not the one who fills silence. Because she may forget your words, but she'll never forget how her body felt in your presence. That's how emotional addiction begins, through subtle anchors. 6. The law of selective engagement. In a world where everyone is desperate to be noticed, silence, restraint, and patience have become rare forms of power. And women can feel it instantly. The difference between a man who seeks attention and a man who chooses where to give it. You see, when you respond instantly, when you validate too much, when you offer your approval too freely, you train her to believe your attention has no value. But when you hold it back, when you observe before reacting, when you engage with intention, your presence becomes something she must earn. And that's the secret. What is earned becomes desired. Machiavelli once said, "He who is easily moved is easily manipulated." Your stillness becomes a test, not of arrogance, but of control. Every message you delay, every silence you allow to exist, plants a seed of curiosity. And curiosity is the root of emotional investment. She begins to wonder what you're thinking, where your mind drifts when it's quiet, and what she could do to pull your attention back. That's not manipulation, that's psychological leadership. Because the man who is selective with his energy becomes the man whose attention feels sacred. And the more unpredictable your focus, the more she invests, not in impressing you, but in earning you. When your attention becomes rare, it becomes addictive. That's the law of selective engagement. 7. The law of purposeful detachment. Most men think attraction is about how much you want her. It's not. It's about how little your identity depends on her response. A man who chases is lost in emotion, reacting, pleading, overanalyzing. But a man with purpose, he moves differently. He's not cold, he's composed. He's not distant, he's directed. His time, his focus, his energy all orbit around his mission, not around a person. That's what creates magnetism. Because when a woman feels that you are complete without her, it awakens something deep inside, a primal respect, an instinctive curiosity. In a world full of men who crumble under rejection, the one who remains calm in solitude feels almost untouchable. Machiavelli wrote, "He who depends least commands most." Detachment is not about pushing her away. It's about protecting your power. You are not cold, you are grounded. You are not ignoring her, you are prioritizing your peace. When she senses that your emotional state cannot be swayed by approval, lust, or attention, she realizes something few men ever make her feel, that you cannot be owned. And paradoxically, that's what makes her want to belong to you. Purposeful detachment doesn't make you heartless, it makes you sovereign. And sovereignty is the most attractive energy a man can radiate. 8. The law of emotional leadership. Every relationship has a silent leader. Not the loudest, not the most emotional, but the one whose energy sets the tone. Emotional leadership means being the calm in her chaos, the direction in her uncertainty, the stillness when her emotions storm. Because women don't follow words, they follow energy. And when your energy says, "I know who I am," she relaxes into that certainty. She feels safe not because you're perfect, but because you're anchored. If you're calm, she softens. If you're grounded, she opens up. If you're focused, she trusts you. That's not control, that's direction. It's not dominance, it's depth. A true Machiavellian man doesn't dominate through fear or force. He leads by the quiet gravity of emotional stability. And that's the rarest kind of power. The kind that doesn't demand, it draws. The kind that doesn't chase, it pulls. When your emotions are disciplined, your silence starts speaking louder than her words. You become her emotional center, the steady pulse in a world that never stops shaking. And once she feels that, the calm, the mystery, the safety, she'll invest emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. Not because you convinced her, but because she felt you. And that feeling is unshakable. Most men waste their lives chasing attention, trying to impress, to convince, to prove their worth. But true power lies in reversing the game. Stop trying to win her attention. Start making your presence mean something. Because attraction isn't about what you say or what you give. It's about what she feels about herself in your presence. When your energy awakens her softness, when your silence calms her chaos, when your self-control reminds her of strength, she invests first. That isn't manipulation, that's mastery. And mastery is the art of making others move, not by force, but by gravity. Because gravity never chases, it simply pulls. This is Machiavelli, where dark psychology, stoic wisdom, and Machiavellian philosophy merge to create men who don't seek attention, they command it.